the metric system down. We do. Who keeps Atlantis off the maps? Who keeps the Martians under wraps? We do. Who holds back the electric car? Who makes the Gutenberg? Ozark, we do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, the high drama edition. Patricia Steere is your host, and I'm a co-host. Mark Sargent.
Yeah. Hey, Mark Sargent, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Do you feel like you're missing a vital organ?
I'm so empty inside. Yeah. And for those of you who do not know what you're talking about, I shortly after the last week's show, I'm sorry, not last week, but the week before, because we didn't do this last week, I had to have my appendix removed. I went to the hospital and it was severely infected, and yeah, it was awful. But the show must go on. So I did the show with you, and then I did another show with Sasha. I did 2 interviews that day. And I probably shouldn't have done any of that. I probably should have looked after my health, but everything's great. I'm about 98%, and stitches. In fact, I get the stitches pulled out tomorrow.
And so, you had the appendix removal where there's 3 holes, as opposed to what I had about 4 years ago. I forgot, emergency appendectomy, same thing. I had the one cut, which is the old-fashioned way for some reason.
Well, they gave me the option, and the doctor, Dr. Koo out of Providence Hospital in Everett, Washington, he said he was really gung-ho on the whole 3 holes thing. So there's a hole just above my belly button. I'm sorry, just right there near my belly button, a hole to the side of that, to the left of that, and then a hole below. So 3.
Some people were saying that you actually got rushed to the hospital and that wasn't true, that you got chipped.
I got chipped. It's anything could have happened. I was put out, no question. It was minor surgery, but if they had a chance to take me out, as far as Joan Rivers me, there'd plenty of opportunities, but it never happened. So,
well, make you go rogue, make you change your personality, make you suddenly become a Mason or something.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Is that the segue into what we were supposed to be addressing right away, which is Mark a Mason because he was throwing up all those hand signs during his interview with Sasha?
Yes, Mark, let me get this out here. I would like you to address the fact that people are saying you were throwing up Masonic hand signs on purpose, along with Orphan Red Sasha. Tell us now, and I'm shining a bright spotlight on you. Tell us.
Let the interrogation begin. Okay.
We will waterboard you.
All right. First off, a couple things. I know a lot about the Masons. Let me preface this. I know probably an unhealthy amount about the Masons. In fact, I did a show with Jonathan on his perceptions thing. I think you listened to it, called A Masonic Flat Earth, which went into all the tracing boards and how the Masons, I feel that at the highest level, they actually know the shape of this world, and that they were at least one of the secret societies that knew kind of the overall map of what was going on. As a matter of fact, I even brought a prop for you in the interest of full disclosure. You're gonna like this. So you see this here? Looks like a bellhop cap from the 1930s.
Bellboy,
bellhop. Whatever.
No, I just mean bellboy. That's what they ding ding bellboy. And
yeah, exactly. Well, it's pretty much the same cap except for the front. Let's see if you can see that. Can you see that?
Oh wow, that's crazy.
There you go. It's the double-headed eagle, which is the Masonic symbol, and it's got the little in fact, here, let me show you. So it's got the little pyramid on top of it.
Your thumb, your middle finger, whatever, is in the way.
Sorry,
do it again
better?
and talk.
Okay, so this is the Masonic cap that they wear in their rituals at the Masonic lodges. So what's so special about this cap? This cap is actually from the 1950s. It predates me. This one actually is owned by my grandfather, who is 97, going to be turning 98 years old. He is on the Masonic side, one of the Priori of Sion. I have a grandfather who passed away years ago from the Knights Templar, and there were many other relatives that predated those guys that were in the Masonic. Now, that being said, does that make me a member of the Masons? No, you still have to join. You have to join voluntarily. And that never happened. As a matter of fact, it seemed to be a generational thing, because in my family, my father didn't join, my uncles didn't join. As a matter of fact, really after my grandfather's, that was pretty much it. So I did not join I didn't join either. Now, being said, had I been asked, if I was like 18 years old and know anything about anything, maybe. I don't know. Would I join now if they asked me? No. No, of course not. I'm not a big fan of them, nor am I a big fan of any elite club like that. Take your pick. Be it the Masons, the Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds, the Illuminati. Take your pick. I am not a part of any of them. However, I can understand, because the conspiracy world is super hypersensitive to things, that if I hold my hands a certain way when I'm sitting in a small chair, and you guys can see my hands, how you might think that. But in my case, my defense, and feel free to torture me or criticize any way you want, I'm only going to hold my hands one of three ways. Either I'm going to clasp them like this, I'm going to put them like this, or I'm going to put my fingertips together. In this case, and they're saying, oh, he did it the entire interview. The movie, or the little video thing that Sasha did, was only 10 minutes long. Come on, guys. It wasn't sitting there for 3 hours doing that. I just happened to have my fingertips together in a chair, and they were pointed down. It wasn't anything big. It wasn't a big deal. I wasn't holding them in front of my face, which I'm not going to do now because somebody would make a meme of it, obviously. It's one thing to hold your fingers together when you're on your lap. It's a whole nother thing to pose for pictures like Beyonce and Justin Bieber and every rap star and everybody that's out there. So, no.
And also, I looked up the chart and I posted it on a couple different, my Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes Facebook page and my own Facebook page and the page for this channel on YouTube. There's a chart you can look up, Google Masonic hand signs, and you'll find all the hand signs. And that one you were doing isn't really a hand sign. I think you have to turn it. I can't do. I don't want to do it. But
yeah, exactly. We can't do it because if we do it,
face it toward the camera or turn it the other way. Yeah. Down in front of you, so it's facing outward to the viewer. Anyway, when I saw it, this is what I thought. I thought, oh, that's nice. Those two guys got together and met. That legitimizes both of them because they're actually two real people, not people, fake people or something. Because unless they're both fake people and are in on a game, of course, somebody in the conspiracy world will say that. But they actually touched hands and are real. And I didn't have any doubt that either one of you were real before that happened, but there's people who say those sorts of things. It was nice that you got to meet another flat earther in person. Exactly. And then it just blew up into craziness. Now, here's one thing. Sasha Orphan Red has her own style of video making where she puts sparkle sounds and hearts and talks about, her love of wine and very girly. So she filmed this type of thing and included you in it, which is great. But then when you put it on your channel, a lot of people who aren't used to Orphan Red's style of video making were wondering why you had crowns on your head. And this wasn't something that you yourself created. And I can tell because I know Orphan Red's style of video making. It's something she created. You just shared her video. So
yeah, I mean, it killed me that the same video, which was up on her channel, because she made it, it was her video, got plenty of positive responses. Oh, it's cute. Oh, it's fun. I did not realize that even though I have been pretty much light and upbeat and tried to stay very, very positive in the Flat Earth movement, that I'm supposed to be this consistently dark and brooding figure. And so when I put it on my channel, everyone was like torturing me for it. I was like, why would you do this? It was not supposed to be a big, heavy thing. However, and I don't want to be hypocritical here because you and I have talked about this, and that is I can't say, part of the reason why the conspiracy world finds everything, the internet hive mind finds everything, is because they're hypersensitive to everything. So I can't say be hypersensitive to everything, but don't be hypersensitive to me, because that would be hypocritical. If I'm doing something that you think is really, really weird, yeah, sure, call me out on it. Now, am I going to change some things about that? Yeah, maybe not. But like when we're on camera right now, like as I'm leaning forward talking to you, my hands are touching like this, and they always have been for hours and hours. Whenever we do a thing, that's just one of the things I do. Yes, sometimes they're crossed, sometimes they're like this, but like right this second, they're touching. Am I going to change that? Am I like going to anchor my hands to my legs so that I don't ever do anything with them ever again? No, of course not, because I'm animated. I do stuff with my hands when I'm talking. That's all I can tell you. Like, look, don't read into it too much with me, but you can believe whatever you want to believe. All I can tell you is I'm not a member of any group, shape, or form, with the exception of one. And I'd like to point that out real quick because it was actually in my wallet. I thought I'd grab it real fast. I don't know if you can see it there, if it's clear enough, but that is the original Flat Earth Society membership card.
Bring it down just a tad because
Like
of the
that?
lighting.
Like that?
Yes.
The Flat Earth membership card, or right there. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so, and that is the original Flat Earth Society. That isn't Eric's thing. I don't even know if Eric does it, but I'm an official card-carrying member of the original Flat Earth Society. But that was part of my journey, which was as I was going down the Flat Earth path to kind of figure out who was who. And when I, found out that the Flat Earth Society, the original one, wasn't what I thought it was, it didn't matter. It didn't deter me. So I just kept going from there.
So already you've got an old Masonic hat from the 50s and a card from the Flat Earth Society. Now, on the surface, many people will say, "Oh, that's horrible," but the way it's explained to me just seems like this is just stuff you've got. Your grandfather's hat,
yeah,
a card from a society you joined before you found out who they really were. The Flat Earth Society.
There's a lot of people in older people. It's generally older in the Masonic world. I mean, don't be naive for a second. There's people out there listening to right now that probably have people, members of their family, that were in the Masonic at one point or the other. Because it's a secret society, you never knew. But their membership has been dwindling for decades, mostly because they are not allowed to recruit. It's one of those weird things about those guys where they're not actually, allowed to go out and grab people. They're supposed to throw hints here and there, and you're supposed to come to them. So it's tough, because if you're a really good secret society, how do you know how to join them if you don't know they actually exist? So anyway. But no, I am committed. In fact, I want to throw one more thing out there at you, one more little prop. And that is, you've probably seen this. And that is, I am so dedicated to the flat earth theory and the whole movement that I have changed my license plates on my car to, it is flat.
I love it.
Yeah, it's flat. There you go. That's how far I'm willing to go, not just put my full name and my phone number and my address and everything else about me out there as full disclosure. I'm gonna broadcast this whenever I can. So.
I noticed that on your YouTube channel, you changed from the picture of the pyramids, and you changed another map that you had behind you when you got this in the mail, and used that instead. So yeah, there was some question as to why you changed your pyramid picture. Conspiracy people. Why did he change it?
Because it's not about me. I realize that this thing has gotten so big and so widespread that why not advertise what it really is, and that is the flat world, the enclosed world. Granted, we're having a lot of disagreements about the actual model of it, but me standing in front of a pyramid, that was cool, fine. That was the 2015 thing, great. I've still got it, and I can always change it back if I need to, but I thought the map that somebody put up, it was a decent high resolution. In fact, that's part of the model that was used, I believe, for David Weiss's clock, the flat earth clock. It's a nice textured model that I thought I'd use it, and put that in, kind of the two together. So you look at that and then it's flat. So it's trying to get the message across really, really quickly, rather than the flattened stationary Earth map, which I did have by Orlando Ferguson, and I like it. So anyway, I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to put those in the car.
Maps as part of our show as well in a bit. Yeah. I also wanted to speak for Orphan Red, although I can't speak for Orphan Red. I'm not Orphan Red's best friend. We don't really know each other, except you and I know each other more than Orphan Red and I know each other, just by the nature of the fact we talk on Skype for possibly an hour each night, almost every night whenever we are around, just chatting about flat earth.
Sure.
I've seen all of Orphan Red's videos, and she moves her hands around a lot. And to say that she was doing Masonic signs out of the blue in that video, or devil horns, Baphomet signs. It doesn't really make any sense that she would be doing that. Now, people are free to believe whatever they wish. I've been told that the pictures of the Smiths behind me, the number of albums mean something. Yeah, that's the number of albums the Smiths had. That everything means something. sometimes, isn't it Freud who said a cigar is just a cigar?
Just a cigar. Yeah, exactly.
So
and a wink,
I'm going
and a,
with that with you guys.
and a wink in most cases with most people is just a wink, because when we learn how to wink, it's kind of like, we wink and it's kind of on the sly. We do not know that it is tied to the Masons.
Yes, and
it is.
She winked in the video, the beginning part of the video before it cut to YouTube and then came back to her, trying to say like, oh, maybe I've been drinking too much alcohol, wink kind of thing. Like people put a winky face in a text. I really think it's innocent. The whole thing was innocent, and should just definitely be dropped. But of course, people will continue, and they can be free to continue to do anything that they want to do, because I can't stop them. But I thought we would be remiss if we did not address it as we opened our show. So
of course, again, I'm doing what I can. We kind of go over our way not to do certain things, but in this, there's only so much I can do here. And honestly, from my point of view, I was labeled a shill right out of the gate. So any sticker you want to throw at me at this point, look, I've already heard it. Plus, you got to remember, I opened with Flat Earth. And when you open with Flat Earth, you're putting yourself out there anyway. So any other sticker, so what am I? I'm an Illuminati, Masonic, shill / gatekeeper / in fact, just somebody sent me something the other day, which said I'm also a KGB agent.
Oh wow, that's nice. Congrats. Congrats on that.
Not the title I was thinking. So.
Funny. Well, I've been called everything that there is too. So, and more names continue to bubble up, and I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. I must be very busy with all of these jobs that I have, that I'm not fulfilling whatever I'm supposed to be fulfilling, because I still have not destroyed Flat Earth, although people accuse me of it all the time.
No.
I interviewed people, that's pretty much it. All different people with different models. Some who believe in the dome, some who don't believe in the dome, people of different religions, people of different ethnic backgrounds. Just anybody I find interesting, and will continue to do so. At the date of the recording of this particular show, which is January 11th, 2016, tomorrow, the 12th, I'll have Marmar Queen on. She's Persian and speaks Farsi. I hope I've got that right. And she's going to be my guest. And that will be very interesting, too, to talk about her perspective on Flat Earth. So.
Yeah, and she's great. And what's sad, unfortunately, about the conspiracy world is, as she gets bigger, and she's going to, because she's got a lot of conviction, she's going to catch flack for it. And it will not help the Islamic side of it for her. And I feel bad, but it's hopefully if she's listening right now, she just rolls with it and stays strong. She seems like a really strong individual, and just don't let it get to you, because this thing is not going away. So just stick with it.
Appears to be, to me, a strong, powerful woman, but I don't really like being categorized as a woman, although I am. She's just a strong, powerful person, and I want to talk to her face to face here on this show, and see what she's all about, a little bit more, her backstory, so to speak. Yeah. We know what her videos are like, but where did she come from, and what's her goals, and in the YouTube world, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so we've decided that that's fine. You're not a Mason from your own lips. No,
I'm not anything. I belong to. That's all I can tell people. It's like, look, I do not officially belong to any group in any way, shape, or form, except for the original Flat Earth Society. And I'm a.
Do you have to re-up a membership on that? I don't know.
No, that's a lifetime thing.
Okay.
So and you can look. I can't remember. What number am I? Hang on one second. I am.
Better be careful. Could be a Masonic number.
Well, it's 539. 5 3 is 8 is 9 is 17. It should be fine. So I'm 539. You can look this up. It's online. You can go to the registry. You know who? I think I told you who the first when they first redid this society, who the first member was, didn't
I? Well, I know already. I believe it's Thomas Dolby.
Thomas Dolby, 80s pop
singer.
80s pop singer.
Yeah, he is, I believe, a flat earther. And if you go through some of his videos, you can see references to that in his album art and in the videos and things like that. So
he was not blinded with science.
Yes, indeed. He was not, like most of us, including us at first, before all of this came into our world. We have Q&A open, and we're going to get to that. And I have a bunch of emails, and we're going to get to that. Let's see. I have a bit of flat earth news to talk about, but we would be remiss if we didn't address another pressing thing that's happening in the flat earth world at this very moment, which is the attempting to find a correct map thing that's been going on YouTube. correct flat Earth map. And I know that all of us probably agree that we don't have a correct flat Earth map. We have no way to know that at this point, although people are doing all sorts of research. People are looking at it all sorts of different ways. We don't have a correct model. People have their own beliefs. People have their own theories. And I'm, open to all these theories, because by having a multitude of theories, that's how everyone puts their heads together. And then sometime, someday, hopefully we'll be able to find it out. But there's a lot of drama going on because of Tiger Dan's past 2 videos. Have you been following this saga, Mark?
I have been, and I feel bad because if he's listening, I was watching him as he was doing it, and people that were following him, he was trying to see if he could come up with a more accurate map than the azimuthal equidistant. Something that was more to scale. And as he was doing it, you could tell he was trying to stretch things a certain way and bend things a certain way, and it looked like he ran into a brick wall and lost part of his mind.
Or an ice wall.
Or an ice wall, because something happened. And at some point he was revisiting the Antarctic and thought for a second, I don't know if he made some assumptions earlier, I didn't watch other people's videos, and was saying that, no, you can go down to the Antarctic, and why does everybody say you can't go to the Antarctic, and there's planes that fly across the Antarctic, and you can go here and there. And he really went off on a tear, to the point where he was accusing everybody that was following the Antarctic rim, the Antarctic ice wall, as being outright liars and deceivers. And even today, I mean, he just won't stop. He's going on this blistering tear, which I'm sorry, it goes against everything we've seen from him. I mean, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever seen on air, where super friendly and positive, and he doesn't let people get to him. But something got in his head that won't. I don't know what is going on with him. And
hopefully it's just that he's searching for the truth and got frustrated.
Yeah,
but I don't think that anybody calling anybody else stupid is a good thing. And Jaron got attacked as well, and I definitely stand behind Jaron. And I don't think that was nice. But then again, frustration causes people to say all sorts of things.
The flat Earth, I will say this, that is, the flat Earth tends to get people, because I've seen it too many times, and you have too. I've gotten too many emails and too many phone calls from people that get really charged up about it. They get really, really gung-ho. It's like, holy smokes, this is the most incredible revelation ever. And they got so much energy running through them, and they want the world to change right now. They want this thing to happen. Like, go, go, go. We need this to go, go. And Rome wasn't built in a day. I know that's easier said than done, but it's true. I mean, so people get burned out pretty quick. It's like they're running laughing gas or nitrous through their engines. They're running really, really hot, and then they burn out, and then they either get frustrated or they walk for a while. But as anybody knows, once you do the flat thing, you're never going to go back to a globe. So I'm hoping that's the case with Dan. No different than kind of Rob Skiba. Remember when he walked? He shut down the website, did the whole thing, put up the Phil Collins "I don't care anymore" video, and it was never going to come back. And now he's back. It was
a different thing, though. He was frustrated, and his family and finances were being impinged upon due to being a flat earther.
Yeah,
or he's not even really a flat earther. Discussing.
Well, he says
yes, right,
but he is. But
so
in Dan's case,
I'm hoping Tiger just continues researching and doing whatever it is. That the reason I had him on my show, Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, a couple months back, was because he was coming from a Bible literalist point of view, and I wanted to have that view on my show. And I've had it since from other people, and other shows I have people who don't believe in any of that at all. So that was the reason that I had him on my show, and it seems to me that that's what he does, and he does it with charm and humor and that sort of thing. This recent event is sad to me. It's sad to me when anybody is fighting with anybody about anything, because in reality, the bottom line is we have all been lied to, and we've been complicit in allowing ourselves to be lied to by blindly believing what the government's told us. And maybe it wasn't our fault because we were children, but by passing along untruths to each other from generation to generation, we are responsible for this lie. So I don't think we should really be mad at the people who've been controlling us, because we're partially responsible. We have to now not believe anybody and go forward and do our own investigation, and only believe people that you really super, super, super duper can trust. And that's quite a small amount. So I commend him for not believing everybody about things that he's seen, things he's heard, videos he's watched, and wanting to do his own thing. And hey, hats off to him for attempting to make a map. Many people are. I know I'm not. I'm not a map maker. I'm not a cartographer. I'm not even a researcher.
Yeah.
But I just hope I hope he's not in any personal pain. I don't want anybody to be in personal pain. And I think people should just, if they can, just walk away and give him his space. But potentially he will come back and say, hey guys, I flew off the handle, back to the drawing board, or something's going to happen.
Yeah.
This anger and hatred, and then people making comments that are angry toward each other and calling people stupid, which he did, which is wrong. You should never do that to anybody. We're all human beings. Hopefully people will just apologize and move forward.
Yeah, the flat Earth movement seems to be sort of a microcosm of our entire civilization, and that is the one big flaw about humanity is that if we do not have a common goal as a civilization, we tend to turn our energies towards each other. You know, if we don't have somebody necessarily, I say goal rather than enemy, but it tends to be that more than anything. It's like, look, we don't have something to go against. We're turning to our neighbors eventually. And the flat Earth movement has seemed to reach a certain point here right now where there's a lot of high drama. I mean, there's a lot, you and I have talked about it at length, ad nauseum, where there's a lot of people turning against each other right now over small things.
And we won't even go into some of the many things that are happening. Perhaps you know about them, perhaps you don't. You just go on YouTube and you'll see what we're talking about. But it reminds me of that Twilight episode that you and I were talking about with people attacking their neighbors. Yeah,
I'm going to include a clip on that on the show for tomorrow night. If anyone wants to look it up, it's really, really great. It's a fantastic episode. It'll put it all in perspective. It's called The Monsters Are Due on Elm Street, and I think it was aired in 1961. It was a Twilight Zone episode. Monsters are due on Elm Street, where basically what happened was there was like a little power outage in this neighborhood, you know, and this is back supposedly in the 50s, early 60s, where everything looked like Pleasantville, and then slowly but surely there was these weird quirky things, like somebody's house lights would go on for an hour and then go off, or somebody's car would start and go off, and all of a sudden people get suspicious of those people because of, you know, they were the odd people out, you know, and it was like, wait, why is your thing working? Why is your thing? And the finger pointing ran really, really quickly, and it escalated to the point of rioting in the streets. And you found out only at the end that there was another civilization, you know, call them aliens, if that's what you want. And they were the ones controlling it. And they were basically saying it's so easy. All we have to do is turn off a few lights here and there and sit back and just wait. And they will turn on each other. And we've seen it time and time again. I'm hoping that we can get through this without too much collateral damage. So I'm just going to stay as positive as I can.
Yes, I agree. You know, I'm staying positive too. I always do, but I'm not positive to the point of turning my brain off. You know, I understand the seriousness of these issues, and I respect people who are doing their best to try to uncover things. And sometimes you have to go negative in order to find truth. So sometimes it's necessary. Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you want to bring this up if it was on your list or anything, but we might want to bring up the impersonation stuff that's been happening as of the last couple of weeks, where people's accounts are being replicated.
Oh, yes. It's happened to us on our show. In fact, we had in Q&A, which we're going to go to in a moment. I read them and they come through live. And there was a fake Thrive and Survive. And I thought I thought it was real. And then there's been a few YouTubers' names who have been co-opted. And for some reason, YouTube allows this. It's the exact picture of the YouTuber.
Yeah, that's the catch.
Like their account, and it's exactly their name. Like my picture, my icon is a space woman wearing makeup. So obviously it's making fun of the fact of astronauts. It's not promoting NASA, although I've been accused of that. There's that picture, and then it says flat Earth and other hot potatoes. And so this troll who's taken my name, Jaren's name, the Morgile's name, Insanity is Sanity's name, Nathan Oakley's name, and potentially many others I can't think of right now, and goes about on your channel, on my channel, on the other people's channels, and on other people's channels randomly, and posts horrible things like, I don't know, you should go die, or, you know, I disagree with you, you're stupid, or, you know, or it's, and the bad thing is that people don't click on the icon, which is what I suggest you do. If you find a weird comment from any YouTuber, including me, click on the icon and you will see no videos.
Yeah, nothing.
You won't see like 6,000 subscribers or 25,000 subscribers. You'll see maybe 3 subscribers and no videos. Before you react to the comment and say, Patricia, how dare you? I've had emails come to me like, oh, you're showing your true colors now, how you responded to so-and-so. And I'm like, what? Because I never respond to people in the negative. So I went and found the comment, and it was a troll using my name, and you have to apologize to people. But then how many people read that and thought it was you? That's the damage here that can be done.
Yeah,
it's
for those of
really
you who aren't.
Bad. And YouTube, I reported it, and the Morgile and Jaron and Nathan Oakley, everybody's reported it, but it's a flaw.
Yeah, they're really slow to correct this. It's for those of you who aren't exactly clear what we're talking about here. It's a doppelganger exploit, which basically means that in YouTube, I don't know how they're allowing this. You can make, so if you see, let's say yours, Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, I can go in and make a Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, use Patricia's icon, copy and paste it, and I will look exactly like her. And then I can just go around into anywhere I want and post anything I want, saying, I hate everybody, you all should suck and die. And nobody, unless you hover your mouse, at the very least, hover your mouse over or click on it, at first glance, it's going to look like Patricia's the one making the post. So what we're trying to tell people is like, look, if you see a post by somebody in the Flat Earth community and it looks a little out of whack, it's like, wait, why would he or she ever post that? Click on the icon. It won't take long for you to get kind of conditioned to this. Click on the icon and look and see if it's real. And I only knew this, remember I was telling you, I only figured this out because I saw a second Jaronism channel come up where the guy was trying to make money off of it, where he had basically created a Jaronism channel, same icon, started reposting Jaron's videos, and even set up a donation link.
Wow.
To collect funds. And I remember talking to Jaron, I grabbed him on Skype and I go, hey, why are you setting up a second channel? He goes, what are you talking about? It's like, well, you're right here. And he immediately, reported it because the guy was trying to take money. He's using Jaron's thing, not only monetizing, but say, hey, donate to my stuff. The same sort of thing that Jaron was. So it's like we need any more help in our ranks to mess things up like that.
Right. It creates division in the ranks, and that's what the troll does. And also the troll just gets off on it. Some weird mental problem. But if you do see this happen, once you click on the icon and you realize it's not Jaron or me or the Morgile or Nathan Oakley, make a comment. This is a troll. Ignore. So others won't be falling into the trap, because there's nothing good that can come from this. And actually, the main troll, I believe, is Tim Osman / cognitive dissonance, who has thousands of different names and has found a way to exploit the system, and is right now in my chat doing it. I can, not chat, in the Q&A
as we speak
right now. Not as himself, but as other YouTube.
May I? You could give a quick message out to the trolls that are out there. And
don't use your hands.
No,
I know that'd be the best way.
I'm keeping
your expression.
No, this isn't one of those messages where it's like, yeah, no, it's not one of those. It is strictly, and it's not preachy when I say this, because I firmly do believe it, and I believe this, and that is, look, if this flat Earth thing is real, and I absolutely believe it's real, that means we're all accountable. And if you believe in karma, apparently you don't, but whatever goes around is going to come around, and everything you do, everything you say, everything you write, you're going to be accountable for it. And so if you want to load this stuff up in advance and see if it's going to end badly, but it's not too late for you. You can change your ways, son. Fat, stupid, and lazy is no way to go through life. But
where does that come from? What movie?
That's from Animal House.
Oh, okay. I knew it had to come from something like that. All right, shall we get to Q&A?
Yeah. So now we've gotten our public service announcements out of the way.
Without the glasses, I can see Mr. Thrive and Survive is in Q&A, and I know.
Here's my other prop, by the way. My flat frisbee.
See, people were worried when you first started because you were holding a small little globe and tossing it from hand to hand during your broadcasts, and people were saying, "Oh, he's promoting the globe," while talking about flat Earth. And then you went on with the frisbee, and people were saying, "Make him let go of that frisbee."
Yeah, I know, and that's just it. They didn't want me to get rid of the frisbee because it was anti-flat Earth. It was starting to bug them after a while.
Well, yeah, but then when you're left to your own devices, when you use your hands, people call you out for making Masonic hand signs. So my suggestion to you, Mark, is go back to the hospital in Seattle and get your hands chopped off. Do us all a favor.
That's terrible, and that's No.
It's a solution.
Thank you. That's a great idea. I'm thinking I'm gonna go for a
here, let me know. I'll
I'm
help you out.
you can't see, like right now, you can't see this frisbee spinning below me, right?
Mm-mm.
Good. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
All right. Here we go.
Let's do it. And you can read bad stuff too if somebody's got any shots
Okay.
they want
Well,
to take.
there's troll comments.
Well,
So,
give me a good troll comment. Don't give me they're dumb. Don't give me one of those.
oh no, it's just but it's feeding the trolls when you read their comments. So
well, no, I don't mind.
Well, it's not a troll comment about you. The troll comments aren't about anything at all of any value.
Oh,
ever.
it's just
I got blah blah blah. Troll.
All right.
So I'll skip them. But if I'm going through them slow, it's because I'm having to figure if they're trolls yet.
Okay.
NC Pretty asked us, can we address the Tiger Dan video in Fallout? And we have NC Pretty.
We did. You're gonna have to rewind it. We're not doing it again.
Let's see. Another troll. Boy, we were loaded up with trolls.
Jeez. I know this video I think had like 10 or 11 thumbs down before the thing even started.
Yes, it did.
It's like, really could you be any more obvious about that?
3 hours ago when I set it up, and there was 7 thumbs down within seconds of posting it.
Yeah, which and I initially thought, and I'm going to pick a little bit because I said this during my last interview, which I posted today. I would initially thought that was from Eric's camp, but I don't think it's from Eric's camp. I think it's from a whole different group, because then I saw somebody reposted Eric's thing on Anarchist, his interview on Anarchist, and that thing had like 7 or 8 thumbs down right away. It's like, okay, who's doing this? Is there like a whole...
If you think about it, there's a troll who's got all those accounts. One troll can make
could
7,
be just
8,
one
10,
guy.
15
Yeah, maybe.
thumbs down.
Yeah, nice going there, team player.
There is another person who used to be a flat earther who has the name Space in his account.
Oh, right. I know you're talking about. That
person used to make lots of negative videos about many people, including myself and Jaron, and the list goes on. Anyway, that person I've heard has 15 different troll accounts. So
it's all right. Keep it coming.
By talking about this, they're going to hit me harder. But
hey, you know what? Again, karma.
It doesn't make me sad. It doesn't make me depressed or want to quit doing this. It just makes me think you're really wasting your time. Do something better with your life.
You wonder why the civilization is going to get judged?
Yes.
You don't have to look very far.
And not just, it's maybe in the hereafter, the judging aspect, but just today, you wonder why we can't get together and try to work on things, because there's so much anger among people. And the trolls are just people as well, although sometimes I wonder, they're just a reflection of the negative aspect of all of us. And anyway.
The one thing the internet did create, I will say this, was it showed us what people were really thinking. And it's just
scary sometimes.
I know it is not good.
It's scary what they're not thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, we're supposed to stay positive. Positive. Okay, so what do you got?
I'm not even all for staying positive. I'm just for staying realistic.
Well, that's fine too. But I'm gonna try to see the silver lining in everything if I can.
Okay.
So what do we got for anything? Do we have any questions?
First question, yes. There's a bunch, but I had to go through a bunch of trolls. It's heavily trolled today, by the way. Worst ever, by the way. It's time for a Flat Earth mega roundtable to stop all this infighting. We're on the tipping point of going mainstream, and everyone can help but fight with each other. This has to stop, or the movement will collapse in on itself if it hasn't already. Great comment from Matthew Eugene Rosa, who always makes good comments.
He does. But to counter that, it's not going to collapse. There's too much. The foundation is too large at this point. Things on top of the foundation may burn, but the foundation isn't going away. There's just so much content out there, good content from a lot of different people, that anybody that's getting into this now is soaking up a lot of the good stuff. Yes, there's infighting. The diehards, the people that have been here for a while, and by that I mean a year barely. There's going to be some collateral damage, and there's going to be some casualties, no question. As far as getting everybody together, it's going to have to grow laterally first.
You and I have discussed something that we would like to do, but we were going to do like a big thing. We won't even talk about what it is, but we both decided to not do it now.
Not yet,
because things aren't. And it's nothing bad, people. It's nothing Masonic. It's nothing. It's not revealing any.
No,
it's nothing. It's just a positive community-based thing we were going to do, but we're not going to do it now because it's just not the time.
Yeah, and again, the energy that's out there, there's a lot, I mean, there's a lot of just huge amounts of energy that's being poured into this. Unfortunately, because the energy can't be directed in any one way, it's going to turn bad in some places. And there's going to be infighting. There's nothing you can do there, especially in the conspiracy world. The conspiracy world is so suspicious of everything. Again, watch the monsters that are due on Elm Street, because it'll tell you so much. And remember, that show was made 50 years ago. And or 60 years ago, and it really, nothing has changed since then.
Yeah.
So just hang in there. This thing is going to get bigger. It is going to get cooler, and it will turn into something great. But there's going to be some drama along the way and some growing pains. So hang in there.
And it is something great already. Really, it is something great. We are freeing ourselves from lies, and we are focusing on not being lied to again.
2.6 relevant hits on YouTube as of this morning. And it's just the beginning of January. So
we're saying that this year it's going to go to 5, right?
At least. Oh well, yeah.
One of our predictions.
Yeah, and that's only if it grows at the pace it's been going so far. If this thing gets any bigger, should we address, by the way, because we haven't done it yet, and it happened, we might as well, or we can do a question. But we've probably addressed the Tila thing.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that too. By the way, flat Earth prosperacy. Says something. Oh, I just skipped because a troll comment came in. Says, oh,
did you lose it?
Yeah. It's I'll get it to it. It was about the movie that we're talking about. Kofo72 says Tiger Dan's behavior is not in character for what we know of him, and that is the first thing I thought. Not in character for what I know of him, although I don't know him personally.
Maybe he's being spiritually attacked. I mean, it's possible. All I know is, for the guy that I've watched that is super smiley and positive. I mean, he did those rap videos.
Yeah.
I mean, that's putting yourself out there. And and again, he still thinks the Earth is flat. He's just having a really hard time with the model, and it's driving him insane. And I'm sorry, it kind of reminds me of the I hate to use the reference when Heath Ledger was talking to Jack Nicholson before he did Batman, before that dark movie, before he played.
Yeah,
and Jack Nicholson warned him. He told him that, he goes, look, do not get too deep into this character, because you will, it'll take you to a dark place. And then Heath, collapsed and just imploded. And Jack Nicholson, when they asked him, said, oh yeah, I'm not surprised at all. So, flat Earth can do this to you. It's a deep, deep, deep rabbit hole. It's super huge, and you got to be. We should probably put some sort of disclaimer on it when we're telling people now. I'm kind of working on that. So,
all right.
Anyway,
we have a from Humana Story, who says, I stand by what I said earlier, which might be in a comment that I haven't got to yet. When people have a bad argument, you can remove everything but their conclusion and it will still fall apart. Much love, Mr. Sargent and Miss Steere.
Oh, that's nice. Good guys out at Humana Story. I've done, in fact, I've got an interview, another one with them on Saturday.
And my best to Brian, who is one of the main people involved in Humana Story, and his brother. His brother is suffering from cancer, and I was suggesting a vegan diet for them, and also raw as well, raw fruits and vegetables, organic for cancer when it's really, really bad. I mean, it's a good way to go. If you're not going to do something like that at that point in your life, then it's just one of those things, as opposed to turning to chemicals, drugs, all the other things that they suggest that you do. Let me see. I'm skipping through all of these troll comments, cluttering up the place. I need a can of troll spray if anybody's got any. Probably a case. Just back it up to my apartment.
I do not have any. I don't have any troll spray.
Let's see. Keith O.B. says, what do you two think of this SpaceX stuff?
Why? What happened today?
I don't know. Keith O.B., let us know if something happened today.
Did something happen today in
SpaceX? General, SpaceX is just, part of the NASA lie machine.
Did SpaceX help that British guy to get up there? I don't think they did. I don't know.
Keith O.B., let us know if something new happened other than the same old.
Yeah. By the way, did you notice that The Martian was nominated for, it won a Golden Globe for Best Comedy? I thought that was interesting.
Wow. Well,
because it wasn't
that's
a, yeah.
hilarious.
And people are saying, is it possible that some of the nominating committee is kind of know kind of the joke?
Well, it's Golden Globe after all. We need the golden plane.
Nice, because it wasn't a comedy. I downloaded it on this machine and watched it, and it was not a comedy.
Did it really win that, or is that just one of those fake news?
No,
stories?
I read it. I saw the list of who won what, and it was yeah, it was ridiculous. The Martian was, again, it is not, it scored like 93% of Rotten Tomatoes, and it won all these awards, and it is literally just a remake of a 2000 movie, Mission to Mars, where basically it's the backstory of Don Cheadle, who was left there in Mission to Mars. The basic movie had Gary Sinise and other people in it, but that's all they did. They took that story of, oh yeah, by the way, Don Cheadle was left on Mars, nobody knew he was left alive, and they turned it into a full-blown movie, and they hyped it up, and it's ridiculous. It's some of the worst NASA propaganda I've ever seen, ever.
Up next on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes is from Dean Porter, who says, I know you guys feel that you need to answer your critics, but I think that you should now stop and ignore the trolls, stop feeding the fire, keep it flat. Yes,
right on, man.
We're done talking about trolls, but sometimes if you don't address the scenario that's current when it comes to yourself, since we're co-hosts on this Monday secret show, then people will accuse you of dodging. It's almost like you can't win, that you're dodging the truth. So,
and by the way,
talk about it.
The reason why I had to address the hand sign thing was I felt two guys specifically that I felt kind of bad about, which was one was Insanity is Sanity, and the other was Star Gods. And I couldn't have said, I've used their videos as reference points, and I like both of them, and I've never said a bad thing about it. I was like, oh my God, they actually do believe that I'm part of the Illuminati. I was like, I just kind of bothered.
Hopefully they'll see this video and give you maybe a second chance and look at the fruits of your work. That's why how I judge everybody. If somebody made an okay sign, or I can only refer to them by name, I can't do them, or touching their fingertips together, which is not an actual Masonic sign, or whatever it may be, or Orphan Red winked when she was talking about alcohol in her video, and that was seen as being bad too. Just look at what they're doing. And if a person's been doing flat earth down one road a certain way, and then takes a certain drastic change and starts changing their belief system and changing the way they're approaching it, then yes, call them out as being a person who's doing something bad. Yeah. But until then, I think it's best to just realize we're all people, and we do things that may, in retrospect, may not be the best thing to do or the most perfect thing to do. Yeah. We also do things accidentally, and they have absolutely no meaning. As we said earlier, when it comes to hand things, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
And by the way, there's an old saying which I didn't really appreciate that much, and that is no good deed goes unpunished. And I was, because you run into that time and time, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. And it's like, yeah, it does. And that was, I'll have Orford Red swing by and we'll do a gift exchange. It'll be this cool little American-Canadian thing. Honest to God, that's all it was. It was supposed to be this little thing, and we had no script. We just sat down. I was like, okay, what are we gonna do? Okay, let's do it. And we did it. And it's like,
people wanted to know where that was. I know it's on Whidbey Island.
Which
where
house
is
it was?
the location? Yes, and explain that part for people.
Our family has a little money, and we have a guest house up near just north of here. In fact, it's only a couple miles away from here in Freeland. And it's not used. It's used mostly for family members. We have people that are coming up and visiting, this part of the Northwest, and it was just a good place to set up and shoot it. And why not?
All right, and that is from what you've told me before about the guest house, is where your grandfather, who owned the Mason hat that you showed earlier, used to live a long time ago.
Yes.
Or used to live, and now he lives in a retirement home.
Exactly. So we kept the house, and because it was way too convenient. It was set up, it was fully functioned and fully loaded, and it's like, you know what? Why not keep it for something? And so we use it whenever we can. It's like I need excuses to use it.
And if you use your own house, it's like there's activity going on there.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Yeah. This is in response to something we spoke of earlier, which was Brian of Humana Story's brother has, whose name is Mark, I believe, has cancer and is dealing with it. And I suggested a raw diet, a vegan diet. And Wildman Jim 62 says, look up dandelions, 81% total nutrition liver cleanser. So Brian of Humana story, dandelions.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see. Oh, and this is in relation to, this is from Wake the Sheeple 2016, who for a little while wasn't using his Wake the Sheeple channel name because for some reason he wasn't able to, but at one point as Wake the Sheeple, you could never respond to his comments. He had something enabled or disabled where it was impossible to do so. So Wake the Sheeple, would it be possible for you to message Martin Liedtke of Flat Earth British how you solved your problem, the setting that you had unfortunately enabled that would make it so that nobody could respond to your comments, because Martin Liedtke has the same problem and can't fix it. So Martin Liedtke, Flat Earth British. So Wake the Sheeple, can you message him and help another flat earther figure out what their settings issue is. All right. And here's a question here on Q&A is, great job so far, Patricia. Thanks. I already know this answer for you, but I want to know, since Mark Sargent seems nice and open about pretty much everything, how is he paying the bills and keeping the lights on to only do interviews? Does he have a normal job? Okay.
No.
Fair enough.
Nope. All I'm doing is this right now. I am relying on family money to keep doing what I'm doing right now, and have been since the beginning of this year. You know, I've had a little money with me when I left Colorado, but nothing spectacular. I've been open about this with other interviews in the past, which you know, I made some money in real estate years ago when I was out in Colorado. Not a ton, but some. And but when this thing started up, that's really what I wanted to focus on. So I'm still looking, but I'm really focused on this because I think there's an ending to this, which is going to be great. So
right. And I know you're looking because you've talked to me about varying resumes that you sent out to various places in Seattle that are in the tech industry.
Yep.
And you had a couple nibbles and just financially they weren't offering what you wanted, or whatever the reasons were.
Yeah, still looking, but you know.
Well, people will say, how do you live? Family money. What does that mean exactly? So that means that you're not paying rent at the moment.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, I have, let's put it this way, I have options, and you know, that other people generally don't have. And
well,
so
someone's going to say that sounds really elitist. So I mean,
no, it's not elitist. I mean,
I'm playing the devil's advocate. I'm always playing the devil's advocate.
Oh, okay. I mean, no. I mean,
we've from the perspective of somebody who's like, oh wow, what's he talking about?
No, because I've made decisions in my life which other people haven't made.
Oh yeah, I know, like putting away money.
Well, no, like, not even just that, but not getting married. Not having kids. You know, never had doing any of that. And then, yeah, you know, putting away some money just because my expenses were low, and
I know what you mean. I mean, I don't have children either.
You know what I mean? I wasn't in dire straits. Our family has always been good about that, where, you know, I was always taught, do not dig a hole that you can't get out of, if at all possible. And so we've been really practical.
Fair
about
enough.
that.
People ask me all the time the same thing. I used to own a clothing store, and I still am paid for that clothing store. I wasn't paid all at once for it, and I get paid monthly. And I have no children and live by myself and live in an apartment. So it's at this point easy. I will maybe do something in the future. I don't really know. I'm kind of figuring out what I'm going to do. I'm doing this flat earth thing pretty much all the time now. Yep. And I have money as well from conscientiously taking care of my finances. And I don't live lavishly. So, but you know, in a way, one could answer these questions with, it's none of anybody's business how we make a living. But if you say that,
no, I mean, they're gonna ask. I mean, people are gonna
ask anyway.
Yeah, people are gonna nitpick about anything they can, and you know, which is why I try to be as transparent as I could. Look, I criticize me all you want, but I don't see that many people putting their full blown name and phone number and address and everything. You know, if you have a question about what's been going on, in fact, Humana Story is going to this Saturday. They're gonna ask me questions basically about my childhood. And you know, how I grew up and things like that other people haven't asked. And I'm pretty much an open book, which is why I wasn't shy about, you know, showing, you know, my family ties to the Masons. They're out there. So in case somebody's digging it up, it's like, here, you know, I don't
mentioned a clothing store because you can look up Patricia Steere, A Girl is a Gun, New Orleans, and see pictures of me. There's blogs, there's reviews on Yelp about my store. There's articles in a local newspaper, Business Weekly. I mean, now the store is run by somebody else, but a good friend of mine, actually, a guy named Kelly. Anyway, so yeah.
Anyway,
The stuff's out there. People continue to ask about it.
ask. I don't care.
Ask. Anybody can ask me any more specifics about that if they want. But in a way, sometimes you just want to just say, oh, come on now. I'm going to be 53 in February. What do you expect me to be doing? Working in a factory right now? I mean, people are 53 and working in a factory, but everyone's made different choices in their life, and the choices that I've made have made it be possible that I don't need tons of money to be able to live because I don't have to provide for children. Yeah. Although my cats do eat a lot of food.
But in my case, even though I've been eccentric for a long time, and you and I have talked about this, where I would have stayed with just about every company that I ever was in for my whole life if I could have, but for whatever reason, the world has kind of funneled me down different avenues, and this flat Earth thing is no accident. I do not know why I'm doing it. To be honest, it's just something that has been kind of put into my head, and this is apparently it feels like what I'm supposed to be doing.
So if flat Earth somehow ended, which I can't imagine that would ever happen, you would just go get a regular job then?
Oh, if it all of a sudden just shut down overnight, sure, I'd try to do something else. Yeah, but it's not. That's just it. In fact, it's doing the opposite direction. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and weirder to where I'm just humbled to be a part of it.
I'm thinking about starting some kind of small company, but I'm not sure what it's going to be. Something I can do out of my house. Anyway, the store I had was a brick and mortar store, but it had a website as well. So I kind of know how to do that sort of thing, but I have no idea. I've got to think about it, but I don't really need to think about it at this point because I still have the money that I receive from my store. All right. Up next from Ridgeview, I think I speak for a lot of us by asking how is Mark doing from his surgery and how is Patricia doing with all these troll attacks? Thanks, Ridgeview. We discussed earlier.
Yep.
I'm fighting off the trolls and you're okay and not dying.
Yeah, no, not dying. No infections. It turns out I was allergic to several antibiotics. And everything's going well. I'm about 98% right now and should be 100% real soon.
Ian FL says, can you contact Dubé? Probably that meant to do an interview. I have attempted to do so before and he declined. So enough on that. Up next from Michael Cooley. Patricia, can you ask Mark what he thinks about the David Bowie Black Star video? David Bowie, his death was announced today, and I've always been a big fan of his music. His recent video from the Black Star album, very creepy and weird, and I posted it on my Facebook page. And it seems to talk about people with tails and other planets, aliens and death and resurrection and afterlife, and it's dark, and he had cancer, and I believe he obviously knew he had it when he was in his final days and during the time that he recorded that. So maybe that album and that video is all about that Black Star. Have you seen the video?
I have not seen it, so I'm just going to go off your comments and say whatever she said, but I'll watch it when I get a chance.
Yeah, David Bowie dead. It's sad for me. He's not my favorite artist. That's Morrissey behind me, but yeah. We're all getting up there. And when you see people David Bowie's older than me, but when you see people who are the people that you admired when you were younger dying, it makes you feel old. But this is the way it is. That's what life is.
You're never getting old. Ever.
All right. Teresa Gordon says, can you guys discuss Tila Tequila? And we were planning on doing that anyway.
You want to do it now?
Yeah. Do we have to?
I know you don't. So let me take point on this. For those people who do not know, if you want to have some fun, just go into any search engine and type in Flat Earth and hit the news button, and you will find a new player in the game, and that is reality show star from MTV, and her own show was called A Shot at Love with Tila. That's Tila Tequila, how it sounds. And basically what she did about a week ago, not even a week ago, is she went on a epic Twitter rant and went on this huge tear about how the Earth is flat. Basically, she was preaching it. She was testifying to anyone that would listen about how the Earth is flat, but she also threw in some other stuff like she was immortal or she was a robot or she was a clone or something to that effect. But she kept
also
opening
stuff recently in her Twitter, because I follow her on Twitter, Don't
you
ask
do?
me why. I do, just because I've actually also tweeted her and contacted her press agent to see if I could do an interview with her. A brief one, a small one. I
Yeah.
don't believe that she's really, I believe she may believe flat earth. I don't think she's being controlled to say these things, but many people think she is being controlled so that the powers that should not be can control flat earth by having Tila Tequila, a crazy bimbo in their minds with big fake boobs, and who talks about all sorts of crazy things, be the point person for flat earth so that no one will take it seriously. But if I had the chance to have her on the show and interview her, I could ask her about those things. So I attempted to make some contact there, and nothing heard back yet. And I'll let you know if it does happen. But it wouldn't be that kind of an interview where I'm like embracing Tila Tequila as a flat earther, and without thinking in the back of my mind, she could be being controlled by the powers that should not be.
It's possible. There's a couple suspicious things about this. One is that almost every major news organization picked up on this. The Washington Post and New York Magazine, and just keep going down. Everybody, with the exception of some of the exception of the real big ones like CNN, NBC News, ABC, CBS, all those big ones, they didn't touch it. But the internet was just lit up with it, and even when you want to have some fun, and in fact, you don't even know about this yet, or maybe you do. The Washington Post did, I can't remember her name, but she wrote a letter. It's like, a letter to Dear Tila Tequila, here's why the earth is round, more or less. That's what she was saying. Now, it was a very short article, kind of condescending, but what was interesting was in the comments section down below, it was almost all flat earthers counteracting the article. They were just going off, and they were not short. In fact, most of the people's stuff that was down below were longer than the article itself, and really just laying into her. And I thought that was great. That they would key in on that. So suspicious things: one, that all the major news organizations touched it, and two, that it was that she didn't back down from it in any way, shape, or form. She didn't retract from it. So, is she the first salvo in remember, because we talked about this in 2 shows ago, or sorry, last show, where we made predictions, and that was one of my predictions, which was a B or C celebrity is gonna talk about this, and then 5 days later, she lights up with it. It could have been her, and you disagree, I know, but it could have been worse than her. If you wanted to pick a low grade C celebrity, you could have gone way worse than her. You could have.
She's done porn, then the Shot at Love thing on MTV.
Yeah, but
also done some. She's recorded some songs, one of which is called "My Stripper Friends." I'm not judging doing any of these things, by the way. I think people should be free to do as they wish. It's
well, if you had a choice between her and, say, Carrot Top, or
just the picture of my mind, Carrot Top,
and Anthony Michael Hall, or her and take your pick. There's a lot of people out there that that have gone through like rehab.
Wait a minute, why is Anthony Michael Hall bad? 80s Brat Pack actor. He's done something weird lately.
Yeah, he's been kind of messing around lately. Drugs and getting arrested and stuff like that. Or okay, here's another one. Between her now, granted, she is one of the top 10 people who are famous for no reason at all. She's in that list with, Paris
Hilton. On Celebrity Big Brother. What do you mean nothing at all? Joke.
You know what I mean? But I mean, she's there with like Paris Hilton and, other people, and one of the Kardashians, or 3 of the Kardashians, and, other people along those lines. But that's where you start. That's where you test the waters. You put it out there, and people say, oh no, you're trying to link it to, to someone who has no credibility at all. It's like, yeah, but again, people disagree. Any publicity. In this case, I mean, you couldn't put a price tag on the amount of press she got from that rant.
Is still getting press today. There's articles about her Twitter, her talking about wanting a reptile lover. I mean, yeah,
she's going to get interviewed about this. All she has to do is accept it. I mean, yeah, she may not do your show or my show or anybody. I mean, I asked as well. I shot her an email like right away. I was like, love to put you on Strange World and talk about this. But you bet there's going to be people that are calling her already or calling her agent and saying, oh yeah, let's talk about this stuff. It's just a question of who she comes out and talks about it with. You wait, it's going to happen. She's not going to shy away from the camera. The question is,
I mean, she wants publicity. That's one of the reasons, if she's totally legit, that she's doing this.
And
she's done all of these things that she does.
The one video that she referenced in the tweet was Eric Dubé's one of his older the Flat Earth conspiracy documentary. I think you remember that one.
Yes.
That was the one she referenced, and it's been getting quite a few hits because of it.
She's also dressed up as Hitler, though, too. So
That picture was unfortunate. It wasn't believe it or not, it wasn't the costume. Did you see the picture?
no.
Probably not. No, it wasn't the picture that got her in trouble. The problem is it was set on the backdrop of a concentration camp.
Oh my God.
Not good. Not good. So
I mean, whether or not you believe the Holocaust even ever happened or anything like that, just the imagery that brings to mind is not a good one.
It wasn't.
All right, let's move away from Tina.
I know you. I know you hate her, and
I don't hate her. I don't hate anybody. I don't think.
You think that she's not going to be as positive to the movement as?
No, I mean, you'd rather have somebody well spoken with a pretty clean background. But that person might not ever come out as a flat earther.
Exactly. There's got to be
people here who are flat earthers. Big people. Do we need celebrities? Do we need famous people?
The analogy
sometimes
the analogy I'll give you, and I'll leave it at this. The analogy is sometimes you gotta wait for the first drunk person to hit the dance floor at a wedding before anyone goes out. No one wants to be the first one on a dance floor, and sometimes you wait until somebody tipsy and just about ready to fall over gets out there and starts doing a bad jig. I would be one of them, and not drunk, but just doing a bad jig. And then it's like, okay, now I can get out there. We'll see if that happens. Honestly, I think there's going to have to be a couple more people that talk about it. But you can almost guarantee whoever the next one is got to be more credible than her. So it's a great starting point, in my opinion. That's all I'm going to say. So.
Kay Spellbreaker writes, going back to Humana Stories, Brian's brother Mark, who is suffering from cancer, about dandelions. She's got some videos called Flat Earth Wild Greens and Flat Earth Minerals. So check those out. Those two videos fill in a lot of blanks on dandelions. Cool. She does not profit from the videos whatsoever, except she gets a personal satisfaction that comes from helping others heal. So go to Kay Spellbreaker and check out those videos, Brian, of Humana Story, and there's more on dandelions to help heal your brother, and actually probably good for anybody.
Hey, is that Kay? Kay?
Yes, it's KK.
Hey, I'm glad she's still watching the show. Thank you for hanging in there, Kay.
Yeah. I've got something of hers to read that I wasn't able to do the week before last. I've just got too many. We talk too much, but we don't. We're doing this, and I have all these emails to get to, and time goes by. I wish we could do a 3-hour show.
No. We're not doing a 3-hour show.
Louis
all right, so
says,
go. It's your show.
Louis says, good evening to all the usual Flat Earth suspects. Hello. And Martin Liedke says, Mark, what English press were you in, please? That's a good thing. I know what Martin's referring to. There was some British paper.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
Oh, crap. It was the second one that picked it up was the Inquisitor. The first one was, oh, man. We'll have to come back to it. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, Daily Press. Daily Press UK. That's what it was. So type in Flat Earth and either Flat Earth Enclosed World or Flat Earth Daily Press .uk, and you should be able to find it. And a
message to Martin: get with Wake the Sheeple, another YouTuber who I'm sure you know of. Message back and forth. He can tell you how to get the comments on your videos so that they can be replied to, if that's the same problem you have, because I think he had it too. Thank you, Martin. Flat Earth British. Teresa Gordon has an interesting thought. She thinks Whoopi Goldberg is going to come out next.
That's a great one. I'd love for someone on The View to jump on this thing. Love it.
Well, she's articulate.
And she wasn't shy about it. Who is it? Was it Rosie O'Donnell? She took her lumps because several years ago on The View, she actually brought up on air Building 7 from the World Trade Center. Brought it up, and all of a sudden, whew, look at that, she was gone off the show. And then they brought her back several years later. I was amazed, and she's been behaving herself. However, Whoopi Goldberg did mention, you probably saw the clip, or maybe you didn't, where Whoopi Goldberg mentioned, she asked the question to the panel, how do you know the Earth isn't flat? And kind of throwing them for a loop. So that'd be great.
Fantastic.
I'd love to see Whoopi come out and do something.
Kitten Sack Brick Canal, my least favorite YouTuber
Worst name ever.
Because I have kittens, but
terrible name.
I like him as a person. Says it's the Daily Express to answer Martin's question.
What did I say? Daily
I don't
Press,
remember.
Daily
Yeah,
Express,
Daily Express.
Daily Express. Well, I was close.
Yeah.
Press Express. Yeah.
Humana
Thank you.
Story says, Mark and Patricia, I'd like to know what you guys think about Obama's executive orders and if you think it might have anything to do with this movement at all in any way.
His executive orders with the gun thing.
I don't really know exactly what's being
You're
spoken
gonna have
of.
to, be more
Humana
specific
Story.
about that, because the gun thing isn't going anywhere. And I've got an opinion on this, but I go off on 10 minutes on gun rights.
Yeah. Well, if you go off 10 minutes on gun rights, then I can add 10 more minutes to the show
No,
to
no,
read
just
more
no.
emails.
No, just keep going. No.
All right. So
Keep it
Humana
going.
Story, extrapolate on that comment so that we understand exactly what Obama said. I stay away from mainstream as much as possible. Flat Earth writes Daily Express UK newspaper. And let's see what else is next here. This from Flat Earth Prosperacy. I'm not sure if anyone has thought of this, but do you suppose that Amelia Earhart's disappearance could be because she miscalculated and went off course?
Yes, and yes, if the map was wrong, then her fuel consumption would have been off, and she wouldn't have known any different. And then she would have been looking for her next fuel stop. She probably was pushing it, and then had to ditch in the water, and that was the end. If you want to go the darker side of that, we talked about this, I think, a while ago.
Yes, we did.
Which was, there's some people that said that she knew, and that they diverted her to some other island near Japan, and that she was put into a prison or POW camp and then killed. So
how horrible, just horrible.
I know, it's awful. I think she just ditched in the ocean because her math was off. But yes, and I got that question like second week after the Flat Earth.
Humana Story came back with a clarification to what he said, and he said yes, guns. No,
it doesn't have
executive order.
Anything to do with it. No, it's a desperate act. They can't do anything. This is not going to be a rant. This will be very, very short. They can't do anything because
all of these false events, these fake events, it's all trying to go toward that, right?
Yeah, but you can't do it. There's nothing. The guns in the United States, there's so many of them. It is so entrenched. Not to mention you've got the major manufacturers. The big problem isn't the people; it's the manufacturers. And by that I mean Colt, Winchester, Remington, Ruger, Beretta. Take your pick. There's so many out there that have military contracts, and they make so much money in the civilian market. They are never going to allow the guns to be removed from homes. You're never going to see house to house seizures. It just can't. It'd be logistically too hard. And so Bloomberg is trying to get Obama to do his thing, and it's not going to happen. There's not enough time. Obama's coming down to his last 10 months, and his last 5 months aren't going to be doing anything anyway. So, and then once the Republican gets in there, everything can be repealed. Anyway, the litigation involved in doing full-blown gun seizures and even no. There's too many groups. The NRA is just part of it, but the corporations that back the NRA are way too strong. The gun rights thing, I know the gun sales go up every time he does this, but you don't have to worry. It's never going to get that bad.
Did you know that somebody had made a video or comments that you were, when you were really in the hospital getting your appendix removed, you actually were in a gun store filming a video showing guns? Did you get that? There was something on major news media, a guy who might have looked like your brother twice removed or something, vaguely resembles you.
Okay, one, I don't have a brother.
I was sent it. I know. I was sent it, and it's like, look at Mark. He wasn't really getting his appendix out.
Oh my God.
He's in this picture showing a gun on, like, I'm just going to guess, CNN. It was one of those things. And I looked at it and said,
no, believe me. I was in Providence Hospital in Everett, Washington. The doctor was Dr.
Let's see your scar.
Well, no, it's
too invasive.
No,
sorry,
it's embarrassing. It's right there. It's right on my belly button, and it's kind of gross. There's still scabs there. It's gross. No, I was in Everett, Washington. The doctor's name was Koo. I believe he's Chinese, and in fact, coincidentally, he happened to be the same doctor that did intestinal surgery on my grandfather last year. So we had no idea when he came in.
Wait, your grandfather that used to be a Mason? Is there a tie here?
He's going to turn 98 here next month. And no, I was not chipped. Although I could have been killed and replaced with an exact replica. Interesting. Cloning. Maybe. Although I've never been knocked out forcibly before, for as far as surgery goes. And that was a new experience. It was done. It was like a lightning bolt. It was like that fast. And you woke up and your
in recovery,
fully conscious in a room that was right next to it. And I honestly, it was like no time elapsed at all. I didn't dream. I didn't do anything, and my throat hurt because they had jammed all those things down my throat. If anyone has any doubts, listen to the show I did on Strange World last Tuesday.
Yeah, when you get surgery, I've had my appendix removed as well. They put a tube for breathing down your throat, and it somehow scratches up. And so then later, most times, not all times, your speech is very scratchy for a few days.
Yeah, my speech is scratchy, and I kept having to remember that. Because you're not there. You don't know when the tube is, you're out when they put the tube down your throat. So anyway, no, I absolutely was having my appendix removed.
This is great.
Why would I make that up?
We're in the conspiracy world, okay?
Just because
I wear a wig.
So I could disappear for a week?
You could disappear for a week if you want, regardless.
I was in on the 30th. I had my surgery done the night of the 30th, and I was released on the 31st. So that's how I spent my New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year.
It was gross. There was so much.
For
the CT scan, they made me drink 2 of those big bottles.
Oh, I remember what it tasted like.
One was berry and one was vanilla, and
they taste like chalk.
Well, I was super thirsty and super hungry anyway, so it tasted a little better than that. And then, I'm trying to choke this stuff down. And then only at the nurse, I was going, there's barely a little bit left in the second bottle. And she goes, I didn't think you make it through the first one. I go, what, I wasn't supposed to drink both? She goes, well, they'd like you to drink, but you only have to drink one. It's like,
okay, Zetetic Rob asks, Mark, please do a lot of hand signs at random intervals during the video. See how many spin-off videos get made.
Well, that's just it. And Patricia and I, we joke about this because neither of us, I deliberately do not do anything. Like right now, my hands are on my sides, but there's some times where, if I have to think about making some sort of weird gesture. Oh, by the way, what was the one where I did, and I stole this from a rock star from an US festival. Remember the US festival from the early 80s? They had New Wave Day and Heavy Metal Day. The guy from not Jobs, but Steve Wozniak.
I would have liked New Wave Day. That was what my music choice was.
That was really cool. Look up the US Festival if you get a chance. It was down in Northern California. It was fantastic. But he goes, there's this one rock star. I can't remember which band he was with. He goes, be there. He goes, or be square, right? And I go, that's really cool. So when I do that to the camera, that's a square. It's not a freaking triangle or a circle or a 6 or a whatever else you want to think it is.
I like be there or be sphere.
Be a sphere?
No, be there or be sphere.
You mean like a
circle? Be there or be sphere, as opposed to be there or be square. Sphere.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to say sphere anymore.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? And I can't even use the word roulette table anymore.
Right.
Because a roulette table, if you add all the numbers up of a roulette table, they add up to
33.
666, but close.
Okay, either way, I was going to say some number involving Satan.
All right, what else we got?
Masons.
Trudge along.
I'm looking at a question here. Did you, Mark, according to Daniel Winfield, see Professor Brian Cox tweet about the Van Allen belts? And I'm looking for that tweet right now here on my phone.
No. What did he say?
I don't know. I can't find it.
Was it good? Was it bad? Was it?
Well,
what did he say about the Van Allen belts? What's he going to say? There's nothing he can say that I haven't heard already.
Yeah, fact, he's probably just making up some lie.
My favorite quote was, especially, and this is from Stanton Friedman, and you heard that little discussion where he goes, well, they're probably not that dangerous. They're just not. And then I had to bring up, it's like, doesn't matter. Okay. What doesn't matter what Brian Cox says. If anyone ever brings up the Van Allen radiation belts to you, all you do is you bring up to them the Orion project. In fact, it's called Orion Trial by Fire. It's still on the NASA website. It still was shown on television. It's still all over YouTube. And that is, you got Kelly Smith, the blonde Aryan looking guy, who comes out and talks about, it's only like 8 minutes long, where he talks about the Orion project and how they haven't figured out how to deal with the radiation problem of Van Allen belts. And that was in October of 2014. Why does that video even exist? Why is that video out there? Why has NASA not pulled that video off their website? It doesn't make any sense. So again, whatever anyone says about the Van Allen belts, apparently NASA has completely forgotten how to get through them, and it's super deadly again.
Here is Brian Cox's tweets. Van Allen belts. Radiation dose can be calculated. This person did it. You can repeat and check. And then there is a link. And
Fine, the radiation dose can be calculated. NASA thinks it's deadly, but it doesn't really matter because it doesn't exist. It's not there. It's
a couple other people, Josh Ketchum and more, who are mentioning Whoopi Goldberg. High Def Shooter asks about sundogs on cold days. Sundogs on cold days.
There's also sundogs on not cold days. If you have any doubt, look up zeticism.com's work, Jeffrey Grupp's work that he's done on sundogs. There's a bunch of sundog stuff out there, and what Jeffrey's saying is that all the sundogs can really only happen if we're in some sort of enclosed structure.
And he's going to be my guest on February 2nd.
Is he? Yeah,
yes.
That's really great.
And
I'm really happy for you.
9:30 p.m. because his time frame is that he can only do later shows. So
yeah, he's a good guy.
Seems like a very interesting man.
Yeah, biggest brain in flat Earth. Got a huge head. He's got a huge head. I mean, I have a size 8 head. If for those who don't know, that's a hat size. So that hat that I was showing you earlier, that's like 7.5, and that's considered pretty big. I have a size 8. I'm pretty sure that Jeffrey has like an 8.5. It's a big head. You have like 5. I think you have like a bird head.
No, I have a big head.
Do you have a big head?
I do. I wear men's size, medium, or large hats. How about that?
Oh, well, there you go.
And this is boring. So flat Earth and other hats. Glad to have you here.
Nice.
Here we go with a question from Flat Earth Prosperacy. Do a search on YouTube for Flat Earth and TV shows. The View question shape of the Earth to see Whoopi asked the question, do you think the Earth is flat?
Yeah.
Interesting.
When was the air date on that? I really want to know, because if it was last year, somebody found out the air date on that. Because if it was last year, then it was really cool. Then it's really relevant. If it's prior to that, like 2012, 2011, not as much. But it still means it's in her head, which is great.
Yeah, which is great.
I still think there's a lot of closet flat earthers out there, like, could be, and there's probably some celebs, although they have more of those. So. Right.
Gregory May says, I really noticed an increase of people posting NASA and space stuff. Me too. I feel that it's a direct reaction to the flat earth buzz. He's been dropping Mark's flat earth clues in comments. I do too. There are other videos that go into more specifics of the flat earth, but yours is such a great intro for a newbie that, I think it's pretty cool.
Thanks.
So we've got this from Mr. Rich B.O.B., one of my faves. Oh, I like everybody who comments, but asks, I wonder what's going on with Brother Daniel, meaning Daniel Pratt, I assume. He's lost his composure. He seems antsier than a cat in a hot tin roof. I hope he isn't counting silver right now. Is Daniel Pratt back? I'm confused.
I don't think he's back.
Brother Daniel, speaking of Daniel Pratt, maybe I'm wrong about that.
There's been several people, again, like I mentioned, flat earth will burn you out pretty quick if you don't pace yourself, if you don't set your expectations early. And
it happened to me a bit. I was lots of hatred directed toward me from flat earthers. It wasn't trolls that bothered me or people who believe in we live on a ball. It was flat earthers saying all sorts of crazy stuff. And for a little while I was thinking, why am I doing this? I'm not getting paid. There's no purpose for me to do this, to just wake up every day and go on YouTube just to learn some more and watch some videos and then see some hate videos made about me or read some hate comments. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Why don't I just take my head and smash it against a brick wall repeatedly till I bleed and then do it again? And then I thought later, okay, chill out, relax, step back and keep going, because this is important. It's just important to talk about it and get other people talking about it. So yeah, you're right. There's a burnout factor.
There is.
Yes, he did mean Brother Daniel. Oh, he meant Tiger Dan. Okay.
Oh, yeah. You have to skip back to the beginning where we addressed Tiger Dan.
Well, we could go with Daniel Pratt because that's more of the drama within the Flat Earth community, which is kind of the subheading for our secret show here on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. He has quit the Flat Earth movement. He has not quit being a flat earther. He just got burned out and loved Daniel Pratt.
Jay Dawes did the same thing. That guy from Britain. He made a video and said, I'm out. And then 3 hours later, he made another video that says, I'll be back. that's what happens. You're going to get, especially if you get sucked into the forums, you get exhausted from battling the trolls. And you got to remember, you started out as an anti-flat earther. Everybody starts out.
Yes, but I mean, today somebody said to me in a response to a positive comment I made on the video, no one likes you. Go back to your back alley day job. It's just what the person obviously doesn't know me and doesn't know I've never had. Anyway, that kind of comment, which adds nothing to anything at all.
Yeah.
It can wear on you after a while,
Yeah.
not because that comment is particularly hurtful, but it makes you think the level of the low level to which people will sink to try to hurt other human beings makes you feel there's no hope for humanity, and then makes you wonder why you're trying to do a little tiny bit to help.
Yeah. And again, don't take it personally when you see, because you're going to get a whole bunch of people out there. They're going to say flat Earth is dumb.
That doesn't bother me.
Well, but it
me when
bothers a
flat
lot of people.
earthers attack, and we attack each other.
There's that. Yeah, it hurts more. It hurts more when someone inside the movement starts flipping out. You remember that movie Real Genius with Val Kilmer from 1985?
You've referenced it before.
I have referenced it before, where the nerds are studying and eventually one of them gets burnout, and like they're sitting at a study table. One of them just freaking snaps and starts screaming and then runs out of the room, and then somebody else takes their chair. That's what happens with the flat Earth. You've got, you know, it's not an all-you-can-eat buffet. You've got to pace yourself.
It's true. If I just decided I couldn't take it anymore and left, it's not like a real loss. There will be somebody else, not literally filling this chair, but there will be somebody else doing something. In just a minute.
Every week, you and I've seen it. There's so many people. There's no shortage of people you've interviewed so far. There's people that just keep coming in and surprise people. You know, people with bigger followings, and you know the people that, and again, I love watching them.
Santos Bonacci. I mean, bam.
He has got. I mean, a lot of people have really jumped on that. It's like, oh, if Santos is in, I am in.
Hey, well, that's great. Different. He's got a different model than other people have, a different viewpoint. Yeah. Tonka, maybe saying that wrong, says Whoopi talked about flat Earth in 2008. Wow, that's interesting.
No,
Matthew Eugene Rosa says that, have you seen the document on page 30 where NASA says it's a flat, non-rotating Earth, nasa.gov centers? Yes, I've seen that document. Yeah, NASA says that.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
Flat, and they're saying it there. So
yeah, treat the model when you're designing whatever it is, X, then treat it like that X is going to be performing over a flat, non-rotating Earth, which is, again, very telling.
Brian says, being new to this whole thing, I have a real question. Why don't we all just get along and work together? It's almost as if the government helps spin it to keep us apart. Sometimes I think that the people flipping out, they can't even be coming from their own heart or soul.
Maybe.
The things I see people saying, you wonder about that phenomenon you might have heard about on YouTube or heard elsewhere, read about, called targeted individuals, where supposedly the government can, I won't even say the government, some force can beam into your brain and control you. Possibly.
Yeah, maybe. I'd hate to think that was actually possible, but wouldn't necessarily surprise me. But again, the dissension in the ranks that we've seen is mostly because of a combination of two really dangerous things. One is
heavy drug use. No,
the what?
I just said heavy drug use and drinking.
Exactly, heavy drug use. No, it's because of the hypersensitivity the conspiracy people have.
Yeah.
You know, they're suspicious about everything, and very fragile egos. Especially when it comes to men. Now, you know, women aren't immune either, but you know, we've seen it too many times where
I haven't seen women, for the most part, smashing other people. I've seen women get smashed by other people.
Yeah, but even that's not.
There's been a few women though.
There's been a few. But yeah, women aren't as bad as men when it comes to that. Men will just lash out. And again, because they're so suspicious about everything, it does not take much to set them off. You know, a visual cue, an audio cue, just about anything will you know. Again, look how fast you can throw the shill label on somebody. And again, that Twilight Zone episode, I'm going to make you watch it after this, which is you know.
I live it. I'm living it.
Yeah, and people point fingers really, really fast. I mean, the old saying is the mob, the voice from the mob. It does not take. What's the example I should give you? The witch burnings. Okay, You got to remember, in the United States, not that long ago, we burned women we accused of being witches. Right.
I feel at times there's been a witch hunt after me.
Yeah. Well, the fact that with the term witch hunt is still used today.
Yes.
You know, the fact that you can go out, I mean, and you got to remember that accusing somebody of being something, especially, you know, the witch things, it
Don't
didn't
go on
take.
her show. She's a CIA agent. Don't go on her show. She's
Well,
a
you know what
shill.
Exactly.
Show me the proof.
But I mean, that's just it. It's so much harder. That's why the witch trials were so effective. And that was,
Yeah, you just put that label on it and it spreads. People just parrot it. And nobody
Yeah.
ever says, well, show me some real evidence. Give
Yeah.
me 5 reasons.
Yeah, it's not that they have proof that you're a witch. You're defending yourself and trying to prove that you're not a witch.
And by defending yourself, you look guilty. The lady doth protest too much. So you're caught in this trap. I don't mean just me, men,
Yeah.
all of us.
The line I use, because every once in a while, you know, people will say, oh yeah, Mark's a shill, Mark's a shill. And it's like, okay, let's say John calls me a shill. I come back and I say, well, John's a member of the Ku Klux Klan, right? Now John has to, how does John go about proving to other people that he's not in the Ku Klux Klan? How do you tell people that? It's like, well, all you have to do is say it, right? But it just comes down to a question.
People can say anything about anybody publicly, and there's a percentage of people who won't look into it and will just start believing it. Just like somebody said you were on a mainstream news talk show while you were at the hospital not even as Mark Sargent, you were as a Joe Doe gun shop owner promoting guns.
Wait a minute. Why wouldn't I promote guns?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said
it's like, wait a minute, that's exactly what I should.
He has guns.
I have been. In fact, I'll do a whole separate show. It's pro guns. So don't. If you're going to put me in that camp, that's the camp you'd want to put me in. So
right.
no, I don't have to be at a shop. Anybody want? I may dedicate a show now. I may dedicate a Strange World episode to the pro gun movement, just to not necessarily even pro guns, just to show people, it's like, look, you're never going to get rid of them. It's not a question of if I'm going to say, make sure, buy as many guns as you can because they're coming for them. No. I'm saying they're never going to take them away because they can't. There's too many systems in place now that they accidentally put in place.
With eBay, eBay, where did that come from?
We selling
with no. Well, eBay is listed on my sidebar.
We're selling dates with Sasha on eBay.
No. Anyway,
$100.
No, that's awful. Too low. With
$1,000.
Yeah, close.
Guaranteed happy ending.
Stop. Oh no, that's horrible. Take it back. Take it back.
What?
Just take it back. It's rude.
I meant a handshake goodnight. That's what I meant.
All right, fine.
All right. Anyway, sorry. What do you got?
With a YouTube username like High Def Shooter, that figures into what we're talking about. He has put in the Q&A, for those who are in the Q&A, a mind control technology that is there. So I can't give you that link, but if you're watching this later, but you can find mind control technology.
It's possible.
Look it up. Look it up
Why
on YouTube. Let's see. We've got JUAN Vincent. JUAN Vincent Hasselbrook. I'll say Juan. It's a weird spelling of Juan. He writes, Patricia and Mark, thank you for these shows. In show number 12, Mark said anyone that does show 13 will be jinxed. That happened to be Tiger Dan.
Really?
Really? I don't have my list right now.
Was show 13 Tiger Dan?
No.
I thought that was later. You've done
I don't
50
know.
shows. I thought 13 wasn't that.
52.
I'll have to look that up.
Oh.
Somebody
it's not my fault if it's true.
Was show 13 Tiger Dan?
Well, I don't think that one would be.
Well, it's
no reason.
Nice going.
Daz.
Way to go, witch.
No.
That's good. Seriously.
And Tiger Dan could come back and everything could be fine. We all make mistakes. And he's hopefully just trying to search for truth.
So
I'm looking at it.
Are you officially revoking the curse? Or are you going to do that later with like black candles and stuff? I'm going to get a break character one of these days. I'm
not in a character. God. Now, see, you say I'm in a character by that. You know what people are going to say.
No, your radio persona
revealed that she was in a character.
No, you're always so professional, and I keep trying to snap
to me
you
on Skype. I'm the same person, but I move my hands more.
Mostly, you're the same person.
And you see me without.
Except there's a lot more naked.
There's never naked. Oh my god! Stop! Oh, stop! All right.
She says stop. She doesn't mean it.
See, this is what I have to deal with. Daz
I can't work under these conditions.
I can't work for free under these conditions.
No, I was.
Daz Willett says.
So go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It says, now that we know we live on a flat Earth, does this mean we have to reevaluate all the alien abduction stories where the aliens have taken abductees into space and they've said, this is your planet? The Billy Myres case, most of those people drew the globe. Well, it could be just across the plane. And if somebody were actually taken in some kind of a craft across the plane, it would look like to me or you that you were going into space, especially if they told you so or beamed it into your mind.
Sure.
But they drew a globe. I don't know. Do not know. Do not know if that even really is real, or those are false memories, or the people could not be telling the truth.
Or whoever's doing the abducting, I got to remember, they're in on it. You know, they can't necessarily come out and say it either because they never have until this point. Right. No, there's no alien story of anybody coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's flat." Go figure, right? You know, they've never done that, and so because I think there's protocols in effect. Whoever's flying around up there, they got rules they got to follow. Anyone that has any doubts, look at the 1561 Nuremberg event. I'm telling you.
All right.
I sound so much like Egon from Ghostbusters when I say crap like that. Really should look into Tobin's Spirit Guide when referencing this.
Daniel Winfield talks about an earlier tweet from Professor Brian Cox. When I mentioned a tweet, it was more of a recent tweet. This is an earlier tweet, which was probably referred to in the previous Q&A question. Some flat Earth person just tweeted me arguing that spaceflight is fake because of the Van Allen belts. Rock and roll.
Spaceflight is fake because of the Van Allen belts. Well,
rock and roll, like
it is fake, but so are the Van. You're missing the second part, and that is, it's all the space travel is fake, but so are the Van Allen belts. In fact, the Van Allen belts might have been sort of a Freudian slip where they knew there was a barrier, and
they knew they couldn't go to space, so they just made up this idea so that would be the thing that would
what's the barrier made out of? Oh, it's made out of
or
radiation.
Dome.
Yeah,
and then later they decided they needed to fake a picture of the Earth. They couldn't just go along without it. And then then you can't, if you didn't know the Van Allen belts were there, as one of the astronauts said, if you can get through them if you didn't know about them, or however that.
Oh yeah, that one astronaut that was interviewed by Bart Sabrell, where he goes, well, I don't think we actually got high enough to go through them. It's like, dude. They were already discovered by the time you were in space. So you're an Apollo program. You're an Apollo program astronaut. If you don't know this stuff, we're in real trouble. So
Mark Smithson says UFOs are real. I know, but Billy is 100% fake. Interesting.
What's Billy?
Billy, the guy. It's a
I'm sorry. The first-hand account. UFOs are real. I've seen them myself. I could spot them any given night. Go out there with night vision binoculars and watch them all the time. And did
Neo Omega
years.
Neo Omega says flat with a dome, and I love it. All right.
Right on, brother.
Let's see. Oh, Spaceman Wayne writes, they put Van Halen belts in that question. Not Van Allen.
Van Halen belts. That's good.
Van Halen belts. That's why he wrote rock and roll. It's a correction to the previous
thing. Van Halen belts.
So
it's great. David Lee Roth. That was the best combination. Don't give me that Van Hagar crap. David Lee Roth. Van Halen 1, 2, Women and Children First, Fair Warning.
I was never a fan, but I did go with my sister who was a fan.
How could you not be a fan?
My sister was a fan, 2 years younger. We went, and we even in the basement of our house in Michigan made a big poster on paper, rolled it up and brought it and held it.
Oh, the big VH?
I don't know. I just helped. It wasn't my band. It wasn't my thing at that time.
You were alternative and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They didn't call it alternative then.
New wave. You were at the front of the new wave.
Yeah, kind of. Okay, Mr. Rich B.O.B. says, thinking more about Tiger Dan, I looked over the Antarctic Treaty, and it says that all research and findings in Antarctica must be made free public knowledge within reason, claim religious grounds, and it says nothing about not being able to go there, which is true. And I've talked about that on previous shows. It doesn't say you can't go there.
You want to spend $15,000, you can go there, or $10,000 or whatever. You can go get your pictures taken with penguins, go on the peninsula. And I stated this in the clues right off the bat, and that is, you try to go inland, that's a whole different story. And if you're a corporation, the bigger question for me isn't the individuals. It's why there's only 5,000 people down in Antarctica at any given time. And most of them are military scientists. And that is, and the bigger question on top of that is, why is no corporation anywhere in the world, no matter how much money is spent, no matter how much money you spend on lobbying, why can't you go down there? Don't give me this environmental crap, which is why I said in the clues. Look, the treaty was locked down in 1959. You cannot tell me that Exxon, British Petroleum, Mobil, take your pick. Any of these companies cannot go down there. You cannot tell me that is not only that. I'll throw one more at you real quick. And that is, let's say I run Exxon. I am worth unlimited amounts of money, right? Money isn't even an object. Why didn't I, in the 1970s, at the very least, talk to my friends at the New York Times, pay them X number of dollars to run a story every freaking month that said, here's why it's good for Exxon to be in Antarctica? Why didn't that story ever get written or anybody even talk about it along those lines? They're not allowed to go down there. They're not even allowed to talk about going down there. So don't give me this crap about, oh yeah, you can go down there. Yes, of course you can. Spend 10 grand. You can go down there. What are you going to see? Ice and snow. Try to do anything major down there. Not going to happen.
Did you see that NASA published some photos that show smoke plumes from oil storage tanks? They say ISIS militants in Libya attack key oil infrastructures. And so they say they have satellite photos where they can see the smokes of the plumes of smoke from space.
Yeah, normally I'd be flipping off the camera about now, but I've out of personal respect for you and your show, Patricia, I'm not going to do that.
More disgusting stuff.
By the way, look, my fingers are locked.
Just locked and loaded.
I have to. I'm actually like consciously aware of my fingers now because of you guys.
That's actually probably a Masonic sign right there. By the way,
what's Eddie's name? Norm. What's his real name?
Amir.
Amir. That's because of Amir. Because of you, Amir. I am locking my fingers now. Hope you're happy.
I love Amir. Okay. There's somebody whose name is WHOTFETW.com. WootFetW.com.
Well,
that probably stands for something.
The second part is Flat Earth Truther.
Yes. Anyway, this person or group of people have come up with Flat Earth crossword puzzles. And you may have been sent them as well. I will just show a few of them here. Hopefully there's ability to see them.
I cannot see them.
Oh, you can't. But wait, I'm away from my mic. They are. And there's a bunch of them. There's Flat Earth Crosswords #1 and Flat Earth word searches. And in these things are many different people like Globe Busters and Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes and Star Gods and many, many people. Mark Sargent, my name, as some of these answers are word searches. So WHOTFETW.com. They're the ones putting out these things, and it's really intense because they've got putting together a crossword puzzle is not an easy thing, or a word search. It takes a lot of work.
That's neat.
Let's see.
Actually, there's crossword puzzle generators. It's not that necessarily hard.
Really?
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Give them credit anyway. I'm gonna give them credit.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't use it.
There's so many. I know we don't have much time, so I'm looking. Sorry, looking. You have anything to say while I'm looking?
We replaced her normal questions with questions that were actually written by monkeys.
Cloned questions.
With clone questions. Mark has been secretly killed and replaced by an exact replica.
That's what people think.
No, I don't think so. And as far as chipping goes, I mean, I suppose they could if they really wanted to, but
what a waste.
What a waste to chip me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, you've
already done your damage. You put out Flat Earth clues. And
even if they wanted to Joan Rivers me, and for those of you who don't remember who Joan Rivers was, she was the comedian, longtime comedian, who happened to mention just in passing before she was going into surgery that Michelle Obama was actually Michael Obama, and it was a guy, and everybody knew it in the Hollywood community. And then she didn't pull back from it. She didn't turn it into a joke. She just went and walked right into the hospital. And then the routine surgery turned into a complication, and she died right there in the operating table.
Mm-hmm.
Accident? Not really.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Donna writes, today my oldest son said that I was certifiably whacked as I carefully asked him questions about the globe. She says, I can't wait until he becomes certifiably whacked as well. So thanks, Donna.
Yeah.
Told him to do your research, and until you do your research, all you have is an opinion.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mom.
Again, saying that flat Earth is stupid is not a rebuttal.
Exactly. Or calling somebody a shill is not a proper accusation. Give me the proof. A lot of proof, please.
Shill, come on, Illuminati Masonic shill. All right, let's
Queen.
Oh, you? Oh no, you're an Anunnaki.
That was my Halloween costume.
Witch, robot, clone, shill
agent, CIA
agent.
FBI.
Yeah, CIA agent from the DOD, on loan from the DOD.
There was more. I forgot what the other ones were.
Who really hates her assignment right now.
Right, I do. Working with you. These working conditions. I can't work under them. JF writes, I've watched all the secret shows and I didn't get Mark's answer to a question. A couple of secret space insiders have come forward, Corey Good, and have given a lot of plausible testimony about visiting other moons and planets. Are you aware of this stuff?
No. But again, how can I believe it though? Because anybody, look, I've been not shy about saying this. Look, Richard Hoagland, who's talked a lot about, people going back and forth between Venus and Mars. Yeah. Unfortunately, the flat Earth community, the flat Earth model is not compatible with our standard model of planets and this general solar system. So anybody that says they went to another planet, sorry, I can't.
What about Hollow Earth and ETs? Believing
oh yeah,
in these
totally. I
things?
totally dig with that. Yeah, I totally believe there's a hollow Earth because you can put so much in such a small space. Again, remember that our civilization, 98% of our civilization, lives between sea level and 5,000 feet. So if you had an underground cavern that was even 10,000 feet high, it'd be more than comfortable enough. And in fact, who's to say that our system we are in right now is inside another cavern? We don't know. What's outside this thing. We could be buried underground or underwater, which a lot of people have suggested.
Mm-hmm. I actually think water's below.
Water's above, water's below.
Yeah, it's possible.
So anyway, yeah. Anybody says they went to other planets and stuff, if they went anywhere, it's probably another puddle. It's probably another system like this one. Is it out in free floating space? Why? If this one's faked, then why wouldn't you fake all of them? If you're going to send somebody to Venus, why couldn't Venus be a smaller version of this, another enclosed structure that's right next door?
June writes, after watching your December 18th show with Robbie D, I just finished watching your program with Matt Powerland, and I enjoyed them, and I appreciated the opportunity to understand Matt better. I was struck by his comment and commitment to simplification of the flat Earth as it's not curved. Indeed, I like that. June writes, I had the opportunity to take a cruise in the Caribbean from December 14th through 19th for 5 days. I sat on my balcony and visually lined up the top of the railing with the ocean/sky horizon. I could look at the 180-degree horizon and note that the ocean/sky horizon was completely parallel with the railing, totally flat. It was so beautiful and reassuring. I noted the truth of this with my travel companion, who agreed with my perception. It's nice.
Yep.
Very nice. Let's see. We have Boris writing, all Los Angeles sees Catalina Island 26 miles away. I see Catalina from San Clemente 30 plus miles away. No curvature. Ventura has Anacapa Arch 20 miles away. Boris.
Yeah.
Thank you, Boris.
Yeah, I'll use Tiger Dan's line on that one. Wait, there ain't no curvature.
Exactly.
Yep.
Let's see.
I should never wrap.
We've got a rather long email, but I'm going to try to skim read it. And it is from Kay, who commented before, Kay Spellbreaker, who used to be breaking the spells, but now Kay Spellbreaker. Let's see. She writes, while watching your show with Gypsy Girl, April, her husband and she came up with a question that we want to ask Santos, which I wasn't able to ask Santos because we didn't have questions and we had audio issues during that show because he didn't wear headphones. She writes, my husband and I have been seriously considering an earth plane model that resembles a gyroscope surrounded by an energetic bubble. The solid/material earth with possible layers above and below would taper energetically and be powered just like a gyroscope with its point below the earth or below the other layers also if there are other layers. Santos believes there are 7 layers above the earth and 7 below. The spinning of the gyroscope would barely be felt at the center where our known land and sea are, but the pull outward could possibly form an ice wall, and the pull downward like a gyroscope would explain the force that is wrongfully referred to as gravity. It doesn't mean that the potential land layers must taper in and of themselves, but the shape of the magnetic force would be cone-shaped. The downward force would naturally be hotter further underground where there is more force, and may explain the molten lava and even form a sort of hell. There may be horizontal rotational movement, like a merry-go-round would, and much more than this. But what do you think about this sort of thing? I could continue to go on, but it's quite in-depth, very detailed. They also think that there would be a sensation of there being a dome or container of our material world and energy, and it would explain possible other lands and life on other layers. And that's besides the realm where only spirits dwell.
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, what she described there was very similar to Jeffrey Grupp's last show that he did on Strange World. And I can't remember if he called it the Zetetic Eye model, something like that.
Yes.
But it was kind of gyroscopic and gyroscopic in nature. And it was very cool. So
the Zetetic Eye gyroscope. I think it's something along those lines.
Yeah. So have
and
Kate.
February 2nd, he's going to be on, and
you're going to talk to him about it anyway.
Yes, and I'm going to save that question and read it more in depth on February 2nd.
Okay, cool.
Interesting. Let's see. We have Mary writing, when you were interviewing Gypsy Girl, I noticed that you got into the Freemason stuff because Gypsy Girl has a friend who is a Freemason. Mm-hmm. She writes, well, my son and I are very close friends with Freemasons. They are both very good men, by the way. I can ask either one of them things about it. None of my children know that I am into Flat Earth at this point. I felt that God would let me know when the right time is to tell them. I can explain more about that if you want. Our family was heavily into Mormonism, which I don't like to bash, or any religion for that matter, because I still have family members there. The Mormon church, for the most part, is very conservative. They're very kind and serving people, so I don't like to bash it, even though I've left it. But I can tell you all about the temple ceremonies and what goes on there and how similar it is to Freemasonry. So very interesting inside scoops on this thing. And Mary writes that she's 62 years old and has learned a lot about the religion. She doesn't want her last name mentioned. And her own beliefs are she studies the Bible from a Hebrew perspective and tries to respect others and their beliefs. So interesting, the Mormonism and Masonic stuff, not really tied, but in some way, I guess. So.
Yeah, well, people steal from each other. I mean, inspiration comes from all over the place, and yeah, groups steal from each other all the time. Would not surprise me.
This is interesting. This is John Charlton from Ontario, Canada, who writes, I've been digesting the Flat Earth information since June of 2015 and have been enjoying watching all the pieces slowly come together. In hearing some of the recent online debates, I'd like to make a suggestion that I think would make it more effective. The debates I've heard thus far have been good, but tend to become mired in minute details on how the sun, the moon, the planets, and stars all behave. Each model has its own way of explaining celestial activity, but neither can definitively prove what the shape of the Earth is. And ultimately, the shape of the Earth needs to be established before any of the celestial movements can be properly explained. So I suggest a debate focused solely on proving the existence or non-existence of curvature, allowing each participant time to present their photographic evidence as well as results from many experiments conducted attempting to prove or disprove curvature, and let the listener decide. I think it's a fantastic idea. We just need the people that want to debate it.
Sure. And of course, the only curvature pictures that exist at all come from one group, which is NASA. Everything else, there, as far as I know, there's never been a curvature photo with it, which isn't fisheyed. That's from any civility.
Which is totally created, totally.
Oh yeah. But right now, all the curvature stuff is from NASA. And we're still waiting for the debate from them. Neil deGrasse Tyson, where are you?
This one is from Rich. I hope you had a happy Flatmas. You can see I've saved this from several shows ago. First off, to piggyback on what Mark always says about seeing other planets on the Flat Earth model, never once does any Bible translation mention God creating planets, just the sun, moon, and stars, and placing them in the sky during the time of Moses even. But don't quote me on this. He thinks they knew what planets were, kind of, sort of. On to GPS. In the UN vote on using the GPS system for tracking planes, let's see, GPS runs off ground-based system, but some do run off satellites. So how
Yeah.
how does a cable company know more about satellites than the satellite companies do?
Exactly. And why is the GPS system that supposedly has, you know where I'm going here, that has 24 satellites, it was designed by the DoD, 24 satellites, they're circling the globe.
I'm
Why
surprised
are there
there's not 23, you know?
why are there such huge dead spots? Dead spots in the ocean. They would say, well, because it's land based and they're not going to build. It's like, no. It's the United States government. Don't give me the crap about the Southern Pacific, the Southern Atlantic, and the Indian Oceans are completely off limits when it comes to GPS. It's huge. That is a huge. And plus, not only that, it's like, okay, fine. Then why do the oceans in the Northern Hemisphere work just fine? They work perfectly. Southern Hemisphere don't. That only makes sense in a flat model. So, sorry.
Rich
I
says,
wasn't picking on anybody.
Rich says from now on, we should call the GPS either Northern Hemisphere minus the ocean's positioning system or ground positioning system.
Ground positioning system. That's great.
Ground positioning system is perfect, actually.
That's
also, we
great.
shouldn't say global anymore. The world is false. We should say planet-wide because the Earth is a plane and it is wide. So thank you,
Nice.
Rich, for that.
That's good.
Let's see what else we've got. Oh my gosh, there's so many here.
Tick, tick, tick.
Stop pressing me and pushing me.
Oh, poor thing.
This is from Brad. Thank you for producing Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. Your show is broadcast very well, and I never miss an episode. In addition, you've introduced me to some wonderful YouTube channels through your guests. For example, because of your show, I now watch YouTube videos by Mark Sargent, Robin Poe, Jaranism, Rob Skiba, and the rest. Also, your recent interview with Gypsy Girl was very good, and she was particularly helpful in providing information about the Masons. It saddens me that you've been exposed to hate by some on the internet. You've done nothing wrong, and don't let it discourage you. The root of hatred is jealousy. I'm looking forward to your upcoming shows, and you have a good line of guests. May you have a wonderful 2016. Thank you, Brad.
That's awfully nice.
That is nice. Those are too long. We'll save them for another time. I do want to show something, but I need to cover her address before I show it. This is from Karen.
What is it?
You can see it's a holiday card because you got the little holly right here, but it's a really neat card because it's handmade.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and I received it after the holidays because mail's pretty slow. And it has to do with flat Earth.
Cool.
I'll read the card and then I'll show it. It says, "Thou didst set the earth on its foundations, so that it should never be shaken." Psalm 104:5. And here's the handmade card. It's a snow globe.
Nice.
Earth. And also the snow, kind of shakes around in the snow globe.
Nice.
And she wrote really wonderful things. It's the Vowell family, Vowell. Merry Christmas. Thank you for directing so much time and energy to the study of flat Earth. I'm one of the throng of people who've been intrigued and captivated by the unveiling of truth. She makes Christmas cards every year. And this year, my friends at church said things like, "Wait, your card doesn't make sense to shake it when they has this verses written on it." To which she says, I simply say, exactly. So over 400 people have this same card. My introduction to them to clue them into the possibility that their globe thinking may be incorrect. Cheers, Karen Vowell.
Nice. I told you that one of my listeners, Mary from Canada, she sent me a snow globe. Do you see it right there?
What does it say on the inside?
It's a custom thing, she said. It's called enclosedworld.calm. Sometimes it felt like God was a zillion miles away. Now I know better. He never even created a zillion miles ever anywhere. Suddenly, he is right here. I curl up, warm in his hand. He encloses me with the other. I am small. I am loved. I am important. So
that's wonderful.
I know, right?
Yes.
So.
What else? Any last words?
Doing Flat Earth UK on Wednesday.
Ah, wonderful. Yeah, Nathan Oakley.
Yep. And I got a couple of more interviews. I've just got a lot of people calling me recently. And doing Strange World tomorrow. So other than that, just trying to stay positive and just keep, hitting the drum and going from there.
All right, that sounds good. And I want to close our show, and I didn't get to all of our Q&A questions because it's impossible, and it's a 2-hour show, or at least we try to keep it as a 2-hour show. And I didn't get to all the emails as usual, but hopefully we've covered everything. I hope there's nothing that we've missed. We do have a song that I want to play out, and you can go if you want, Mark. And this show, well, I think you might want to hear it.
What is it?
The song is called Flat Earth Mind Control, and it's by a guy named Joe Leinweber, Leinweber. And I'm going to play it off my phone because that's the high-tech technology that we've got going on this show, and we'll hope that it will work.
Is this on YouTube?
How
do I not have this song?
You will have it after this. I think I've sent it to you.
You have not.
But
holding out on
I
it.
will play it, and it's fine for you to. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear it as well. Yeah, you'll be able to hear it. I'm playing it into my microphone. It's not a very long song. It's 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
All right.
And I'll play it, and after we're done, we'll close out our show. And the channel this comes from is JM Lean, JMLEIN, JMLEIN, and Flat Earth Mind Control. And it's appropriate because this song is a David Bowie song. So it works on several levels for today, the day that David Bowie died. So here we go.
And in case there are any conspiracy
Wait.
theorists out there, how would you prove to us
What
that
happened?
there's zero gravity?
It's good. Sorry, it was my fault.
All right.
That freaked me out.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Oh, I've heard this.
Mind control to Major Tom. Mind control to Major Tom. Hang the green screen up and put your wires on. Mind control to Major Tom. Mind control to Major Tom. Earth is flat and there's a dome above us all. This is mind control to Major Tom. We've fooled the human race. Now the existence of God is so far away. Mind control to Major Tom. Mind control to Major Tom. Earth is flat and there's a dome above us all. Mind control to Major Tom.
Thank you very much for joining us for The Secret Show. And from Mark Sargent and myself, Patricia Steere, keep it flat.